My sister's husband didn't touch my graduation cap. He crushed it. Grabbed it midair as I tossed it, walked to the nearest trash can, shoved it down past coffee cups and napkins. His voice carried across the lawn. "This means nothing." My sister stood beside him, arms crossed, silent. 43 people watched. Not one stopped him. An hour later, I retrieved it from that trash can bent cardboard, stained tassel, reeking of discarded lunch. Stanford Stadium, Section 12. The cap I'd earned through 6 years of night classes while working full-time sat under someone's half-eaten sandwich. My roommate had filmed everything, posted it that night. 890,000 views by morning. Every person at that graduation saw him. Then my sister's employer, a nonprofit about lifting others up, saw it too. Her phone started ringing with very different calls. The acceptance email arrived at 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday morning in late spring. I was in the 24-hour Walgreens break room, halfway through a 12-hour overnight shift, eating cold leftover pasta straight from the Tupperware. My phone lit up on the scratched laminate table. Stanford University School of Professional Studies. My hands shook so badly I had to set down my fork. "Congratulations, Jordan. We are pleased to offer you admission. 28 years old, 6 years of night classes, 50-hour work weeks as a pharmacy technician. A 3.8 gigapascals maintained through exhaustion, double shifts, and the kind of bone-deep fatigue that makes you forget what rest feels like." I'd done it. I read the email 4 times before I let myself cry. Then I called my parents. Mom answered on the 5th ring. "Jordan? It's not even 7. Is everything okay?" "I got in," I said, my voice cracked. "Stanford accepted me. I'm graduating in August." Silence stretched across the line. Not the good kind, the kind where someone's speechless with joy, the uncomfortable kind, the kind where you can feel someone calculating their response. "Oh," Mom finally said. That's nice, honey." Nice. 6 years of working graveyard shifts while taking online classes. 6 years of choosing between textbooks and groceries. 6 years of falling asleep at red lights and microwaving dinner at 3 a.m. and studying pharmacology in the bathroom during my 15-minute breaks. Nice. "I know it's not a traditional program," I said quickly, hating how defensive I sounded. "But it's a real Bachelor of Arts in Liberal Studies. Same degree as on campus, same diploma, and I did it while working full-time, so—" "We're proud of you," Dad's voice cut in. He'd picked up the extension. His tone had that practiced quality he used with difficult customers at his insurance office. Polite, professional, distant. "That's a real accomplishment, Jordan." I waited for more. For excitement. For questions about the ceremony. About whether I needed help with anything. About how I'd managed to pull this off while living on pharmacy tech wages. Instead, Mom said, "Actually, we're glad you called. Maya has some news, too." Of course she did. "She and Derek are planning to renew their vows," Mom continued, her voice suddenly animated in a way it hadn't been 3 seconds earlier. "A 2-year anniversary thing. Isn't that romantic? They're thinking late August, maybe that vineyard in Napa they loved." "My graduation's in August," I said. "Oh." Another pause. "Well, I'm sure we can make both work. When is it exactly?" "I don't know yet. I just got accepted this morning." Right. Well, send us the details when you know." Mom's attention was already somewhere else. I could hear it in her voice, that drift, that mental checkout. "We should let you get back to work. Congratulations again, sweetie." They hung up before I could say anything else. I sat in that break room for another 10 minutes, staring at my phone. The acceptance email was still open on the screen. Stanford's logo gleamed at the top, cardinal red. Proud. Official. I'd worked so hard for this moment, and somehow I already knew they wouldn't show up. That instinct, that cold certainty in my gut wasn't new. It was a muscle I'd been training my whole life. I thought back to my 22nd birthday, the day everything changed. I'd been a junior at UCLA, maintaining a 3.6 gigapascals, working part-time at a campus bookstore, living in a cramped apartment with 3 roommates. I was studying literature with plans to become a teacher. My parents had been helping with tuition, not covering all of it, but enough that I could manage the rest with loans and my bookstore paychecks. Then Maya got engaged. She was 26, 4 years older, already working as an architect with a prestigious firm in San Francisco. She'd gone to Berkeley on a full ride, graduated with honors, landed a job within 3 months. Everything had always come easily to Maya: grades, career, even Derek, her fiancé, who worked in finance and wore suits that cost more than my monthly rent. The engagement happened in March. By April, my parents sat me down at a Denny's near campus neutral territory, they called it, and told me they couldn't help with tuition anymore. Maya's wedding is going to be expensive, Dad said, not quite meeting my eyes. And we want to give her the day she deserves. You understand, right? I was 22. I understood nothing except that my college fund had just become my sister's wedding budget. How much is the wedding? I asked. Mom shifted in the vinyl booth. That's not really. How much? Dad sighed. Around 87,000. But Jordan? She's our daughter. This is her special day. These things are important. I'm your daughter too. The words came out smaller than I meant them to. Quieter. Like even I didn't believe they'd carry weight. Of course you are, Mom said, reaching across the table. I pulled my hand back before she could touch it. But you're young. You have time. Maya's 32, she's ready to settle down, and we want to support her in that. By taking away my education? We're not taking it away, Dad said, his voice sharpening. You can get loans. Plenty of students do. You're resourceful. You'll figure it out. I dropped out 3 weeks later. Not because I wanted to, because even with maximum student loans, I couldn't cover the gap my parents left. UCLA wasn't cheap. Without their help, the math didn't work. So I withdrew, moved back to San Jose, and got a job at Walgreens. Pharmacy tech training took 6 months. The pay was better than the bookstore, $19 an hour, enough to rent a studio apartment and start saving. I told myself it was temporary. I'd go back to school eventually, finish my degree, become a teacher like I'd planned. Then Maya's wedding happened. $87,000, 320 guests. A live band. A dress that cost more than my yearly rent. An open bar. A videographer, who followed her around like she was royalty. I was invited, obviously. I wore a $40 dress from Target and smiled through every speech about how blessed Maya was, how supportive our parents were, how family means everything. Derek's best man made a toast about how Maya came from nothing and built herself from the ground up. I drank 4 glasses of wine and didn't correct him. 6 years passed. I didn't go back to UCLA. Instead, I found Stanford's online liberal studies program designed for working adults, flexible schedules, night classes I could take after my shifts. It wasn't the path I'd imagined at 22. But it was a path. And I was going to finish it. I took 2 classes per quarter, sometimes 3 if I could handle the workload. I studied pharmacology textbooks during slow nights at Walgreens and wrote essays about postmodern literature during my lunch breaks. I turned in assignments at 2 a.m. and took exams in my car before clocking in for the morning shift. My coworkers thought I was insane. You're already making decent money, my supervisor Marcus told me once. Why put yourself through this? Because I'd promised myself I would. Because I'd let my parents convince me to quit once, and I wouldn't do it again. Because every time I saw Maya's wedding photos on Facebook, Mom and Dad beaming in the background, arms around their golden child, something in my chest tightened, and I needed to prove I could do this without them. I didn't say any of that to Marcus. I just shrugged and said, I like learning. He shook his head like I was a lost cause. By the time I got my graduation date confirmed, I'd been working at Walgreens for 6 years straight. Same location, same overnight shifts, same fluorescent lights buzzing overhead while I counted pills and restocked shelves and smiled at customers who treated me like I was invisible. The ceremony was scheduled for August 12th, Saturday afternoon. Stanford Stadium, Section 12. I sent the details to my parents in a group text. Me, graduation's official, August 12th, 2 p.m. Let me know if you can make it. I didn't hear back for 3 days. When Mom finally responded, it was a single line. We'll try our best. Not we'll be there. Not we're so proud. Not we wouldn't miss it. We'll try. I sent a text to Maya separately. We weren't close, hadn't been since the wedding, really, but she was still my sister. And maybe, some stupid part of me thought, she'd understand. She'd gotten her degree. She'd walked across the stage while our parents cheered. Maybe she'd remember what that felt like. Me. Hey. Graduating Stanford on August 12th. Would mean a lot if you could come. Derek, too, if he's free. Her response came faster than Mom's. Maya, congrats. We'll definitely try. Derek's schedule is crazy right now, but I'll check. I stared at that little graduation cap emoji for longer than I should have. We'll try. Everyone in my life would try. No one would show up. If you asked my parents, they'd tell you they loved us equally. If you looked at the numbers, you'd know they were lying. Maya was 32 now, living in a renovated Craftsman in Palo Alto with Derek, driving a brand new Audi A4 she'd gotten as a push present after their second wedding anniversary. She had a corner office at her architecture firm, a 6-figure salary, and a life that looked like it belonged in a lifestyle magazine. I was 28, living in a 450 square foot studio in East San Jose, taking the bus because my 2008 Honda Civic had died 2 years ago, and I couldn't afford to replace it. My student loan balance sat at $64,300, every dollar borrowed to finish the degree my parents had stopped funding. Maya's graduate school at Berkeley? Fully paid for. By them. The math was everywhere if you knew how to look. When Maya turned 30, they threw her a surprise party at a rented event space. 200 guests. Catered dinner. A champagne tower. I showed up with a $40 Target gift card because that's what I could afford. When I turned 25, they took me to Olive Garden. We split breadsticks. They gave me a card with a Starbucks gift card inside $25. When Maya bought her house, they gave her $50,000 toward the down payment. An investment in her future, Dad called it. When I asked if they could co-sign my student loans so I'd get a better interest rate, Dad said, "We can't take on that kind of liability, Jordan. You need to be financially independent." I was financially independent. I had no other choice. Derek made everything worse. I didn't like him from the start, something about the way he looked at people. Like he was calculating their worth in real time. He worked as a financial consultant, which seemed to mean he told rich people how to hide their money from taxes while wearing expensive suits and talking about wealth optimization. At family dinners, he had a habit of asking me questions designed to sound friendly, but felt like tiny scalpel cuts. "Still at Walgreens, Jordan?" he'd say, swirling wine in his glass. "That's great. Steady work. Nothing wrong with that." The subtext was deafening. "You're 28 and still working retail. Still taking classes online?" he asked once, after I mentioned finishing a linguistics course. "That's convenient. Flexible. Not like the real college experience, but still, not real. You ever think about getting a real degree?" he said another time, after a few too many drinks at Thanksgiving. "Like, something that actually pays? No offense, but liberal arts seems like a waste when you're already behind." Maya laughed. Not a mean laugh, just the kind of laugh that meant she agreed but didn't want to say it out loud. I didn't respond. I'd learned early that defending myself to Derek was pointless. He didn't listen. He just waited for you to stop talking so he could explain why you were wrong. Mom and Dad never corrected him. The week before graduation, I used my last paycheck to buy my cap and gown. $85. Stanford's bookstore didn't offer payment plans. I stood in front of the mirror in my studio apartment, trying it on for the first time. The gown was heavy, polyester, cardinal red. The cap balanced awkwardly on my head, tassel dangling to the right. I looked ridiculous. I looked official. I looked like someone who'd spent 6 years working overnight shifts to earn something no one in my family thought mattered. I took a photo. Didn't post it. Just saved it to my camera roll. That same week, I requested the day off from Walgreens. It wasn't approved at first. Graduation fell on a Saturday, one of our busiest days, but I pushed back. I've worked here for 6 years, I told Marcus, my supervisor. I've never called out. I've covered every holiday shift you've needed. I'm taking August 12th off. He sighed, scratched something on his clipboard and nodded. Fine, but you're losing a day's pay. $220. Gone. I didn't care. 3 days before the ceremony, I got a text from Mom. Mom, we can't make it to your graduation. Something came up with Maya. I'm so sorry, honey. We'll celebrate another time. I read it twice, then a third time. Something came up with Maya. No explanation, no details. Just Maya's name, like it was a category of emergency all on its own. I typed and deleted 4 different responses before settling on me. What came up? She didn't answer for 2 hours. When she did, it was vague and breezy, like she hadn't just canceled on the most important day of my life. Mom, she's having a hard time with some work stuff. Needs family support right now. You know how stressful her job is. I wanted to throw my phone across the room. Instead, I texted back. Me. I've been working toward this for 6 years. Mom. I know, and we're so proud of you. But Maya really needs us right now. I'm sure you understand. I didn't respond. I didn't cry, either. I just sat on my couch, staring at the wall, feeling something cold and heavy settle in my chest. I'd known they wouldn't come. Some part of me had always known. But seeing it confirmed, seeing Maya's name used as a reason to abandon me, felt different than I'd expected. It felt like proof. The night before graduation, I got one more text. This one from Maya. Maya. Hey! Derek and I are actually going to make it tomorrow. Worked out our schedules. See you there. I stared at that message for a long time. My parents weren't coming, but Maya and Derek were. I didn't know if that made it better or worse. August 12th started at 6:30 a.m. with my alarm screaming in my studio apartment. I didn't sleep the night before. Not really. I dozed in 20-minute intervals, jerking awake every time my brain reminded me that today was supposed to matter, that I'd worked 6 years for this, that my parents weren't coming but Maya and Derek were, and somehow that felt worse than no one showing up at all. I showered, put on the one professional outfit I owned, black slacks, white blouse, both ironed the night before, applied makeup carefully, hands steadier than I expected, pinned my hair back, looked in the mirror. I looked tired. I looked like someone who'd earned this. The drive to Stanford took 40 minutes. I left early, paranoid about traffic, and ended up sitting in my parked car in the stadium lot for 30 minutes before the ceremony, watching other graduates arrive with their families. Everyone had someone. Parents carrying flowers, siblings taking photos, grandparents moving slowly across the parking lot, dressed in their best clothes. Whole families orbiting around a single graduate like they were the sun. I checked my phone. No messages. Maya and Derek said they'd be here. They'd confirmed. I'd even texted her the section number, Section 12, near the south entrance. I got out of my car, adjusted my cap, and walked toward Stanford Stadium alone. The ceremony space was enormous, rows of chairs stretched across the football field, sectioned by college and degree type. Overhead, the August sun blazed, turning the air thick and shimmering. 2,400 graduates filled the seats. Families packed the stands. I found my section, sat down between strangers. The woman to my left had her whole family in the front row. Parents, siblings, grandparents, someone's toddler waving a handmade sign that said, "We love you, Jessica." The man to my right kept turning around, waving at someone in the stands. His mom blew him kisses. I faced forward and tried not to look at the empty seats where my parents should have been. The ceremony started at 2 p.m. A dean gave a speech about resilience and lifelong learning. Someone sang the national anthem. They called degree types one by one: Bachelor of Science, Bachelor of Engineering, Bachelor of Arts. When they called liberal studies, I stood with 24 others and walked toward the stage. The announcer read names alphabetically. I waited in line, heart pounding, hands slick with sweat. Jordan Reeves. I crossed the stage, accepted my diploma, smiled for the photographer. For 10 seconds, I let myself feel it, the weight of the folder in my hands, the polyester gown swishing around my legs, the applause from strangers who didn't know my name but clapped anyway. I'd done it. I walked off the stage, back toward my seat, and that's when I saw them. Maya and Derek. Standing near the edge of Section 12, partially blocked by a concrete pillar. Maya looked polished, sundress, oversized sunglasses, designer bag. Derek wore khakis and a polo shirt, arms crossed, expression unreadable. I waved. Maya waved back, but her smile was tight, performative. Derek didn't wave at all. After the ceremony ended, everyone started the tradition, tossing caps in the air, laughing, hugging, taking photos. I didn't have anyone to hug. But I had a cap. So I tossed it. It spun upward, tassel trailing, the ridiculous cardboard square flipping twice before starting its descent. I didn't catch it. Derek did. He'd moved closer while I wasn't paying attention 10 feet away, maybe less. He snatched my cap mid-air like he was intercepting a pass, his hand closing around it before I could react. For a second, I thought he was joking, playing around, going to hand it back with some stupid comment about my throw. Then he turned and walked toward the nearest trash can. "Derek?" I said. He didn't stop. He reached the trash can, a big industrial one, green, overflowing with discarded programs and Starbucks cups, and shoved my cap down into it. Hard, like he was trying to bury it under the garbage. I stood frozen. "Derek, what?" He turned back to face me, brushing his hands off like he'd just handled something dirty. "This means nothing," he said. His voice wasn't loud, but it carried. Several people nearby stopped talking and turned to look. "You're still a pharmacy tech with 60,000 in debt," he continued, his tone casual, almost bored. "You spent 6 years on a degree you'll never use, and now you're standing here acting like it matters." My throat closed. "It doesn't matter, Jordan. You wasted your time." Maya stood 5 feet behind him, silent, arms crossed. She didn't tell him to stop, didn't defend me, didn't even look uncomfortable. She looked bored. I scanned the area. 43 people were watching now, maybe more. Families, graduates, strangers who'd heard Derek's voice and turned to see what was happening. Not one of them said anything. I walked to the trash can. My hands were shaking. My face was burning. I could feel every single person's eyes on me as I reached into the garbage, past crumpled napkins and someone's half-eaten sandwich, and pulled out my cap. It was bent. The cardboard edge was crushed where Derek had shoved it down. The tassel was stained with something brown, coffee, maybe, or soda. It smelled like old food and warm trash. I held it in both hands and stared at Derek. He stared back, expression blank. "You done?" he said. I didn't answer. I turned and walked toward the parking lot, clutching my ruined cap, diploma folder tucked under my arm. Behind me, I heard Maya say something to Derek. Her voice was too quiet to make out the words. He laughed. I sat in my car for an hour. The cap rested on the passenger seat, bent and stained, reeking of garbage. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just sat there, staring at it, trying to understand what had just happened. 6 years, 50-hour work weeks, night classes, loans, exhaustion, sacrifice. And Derek had thrown it in the trash. My phone buzzed. A text from my roommate, Lissa. "Lissa. Oh my God, I'm so sorry I couldn't make it. How was the ceremony? Send pics." I didn't respond. Another buzz. This one, from Maya. "Maya. Derek didn't mean it like that. He just thinks you should focus on practical stuff. Don't be mad." I turned my phone face down. I looked at my cap again. And that's when I saw it. Something white, partially sticking out from under the tassel. I pulled it free. A business card. Derek Chen. Financial consultant. Apex Wealth Management. It must have fallen out of his pocket when he shoved my cap into the trash. I turned the card over. On the back, in Derek's handwriting, Reeves Trust, minus $128K. Distribute to M only. I read it 3 times. Then I Googled Apex Wealth Management. Specializing in trust fund management, estate planning, and college savings accounts. My hands started shaking again. But this time, it wasn't from humiliation. It was from rage. I didn't leave the parking lot for another 20 minutes. I just sat there, Derek's business card pinched between my thumb and forefinger, reading that handwritten note over and over. Reeves Trust, minus $128K. Distribute to M only. M. Maya. $128,000. My grandmother had died 18 months ago. Mom's mother. I'd been at the funeral, a small service. Maybe 30 people. Held at the same church where my parents got married. Grandma Reeves had been 84, sharp until the end, the kind of woman who sent birthday cards with personal checks inside and called to ask about your life even when you didn't call first. She'd sent me a check for $50 on my 27th birthday, 6 months before she died. The card that came with it said, "Keep working hard, Jordan. Education is the one thing no one can take from you." I deposited that check and used it for groceries. Now I was staring at a note that said someone had $128,000 with her name attached. I Googled Apex Wealth Management on my phone, still sitting in my hot car, still wearing my graduation gown. The website loaded immediately. Clean. Professional. A stock photo of a diverse group of people shaking hands in an office with floor-to-ceiling windows. Services. Trust fund management. Estate planning. College savings accounts. Wealth preservation. I clicked About Us. Derek's photo was third from the left in the staff grid. He wore a suit I'd seen him wear to Christmas dinner. His bio said he specialized in family wealth transitions and multi-generational financial planning. My hands were shaking. I clicked back to Google and searched Reeves Family Trust. Nothing relevant came up. A few LinkedIn profiles, a law firm in Texas. Nothing about my grandmother. I tried. Reeves Trust, California. Still nothing. I tried. Grandma Reeves Estate. An obituary. A funeral home listing. Nothing about money. I sat back against the driver's seat, sweating, trying to think. If there was a trust, if Grandma had left money, I would have known. Right? Mom would have told me. Unless she didn't want me to know. That night, I texted Maya. Me. What did Derek mean about a Reeves Trust? I watched the 3 dots appear. Disappear. Appear again. Maya. What? Me. I found his business card. It had a note. Reeves Trust minus $128K. The dots stopped. 5 minutes passed. Maya, I don't know what you're talking about. Me. You don't know about $128,000? Maya. Jordan, I think you're reading into something that isn't there. Derek works with lots of families. Maybe it was a different client. Me. It said distribute to M only. No response. I waited 10 minutes. Then 20. Me. Maya? She never replied. The next morning, I called my bank. I didn't know what I was looking for, exactly, but Derek's company specialized in trusts and estates, and my grandmother had died 18 months ago, and something about the timeline felt wrong. The Wells Fargo representative who answered sounded young and bored. I need to check if there are any accounts in my name I don't know about, I said. Like, checking or savings? I don't know. Maybe a trust account? A pause. Keyboard clicking. Can I have your full name and social security number? I gave them. More clicking. I'm showing one checking account opened 6 years ago. Balance of $340. No savings. No trust accounts linked to your social security number. Are you sure? Yes, ma'am. If there was a trust, it would show up in our system if you were listed as a beneficiary. What if someone else opened it? Like my parents? Then it wouldn't be in your name. It would be in theirs. You'd need their information to check. I thanked her and hung up. I sat on my couch, staring at my student loan portal on my laptop. $64,300. I'd taken out that much because my parents said they couldn't help, because they'd spent their money on Maya's wedding and couldn't take on the liability of co-signing loans with better interest rates. I opened a new tab and searched, how to find out if you're a beneficiary of a trust. The results were dense. Legal jargon, articles about probate and estate planning. One article from a law blog said, trust beneficiaries are typically notified in writing after the grantor's death. If you believe you're a beneficiary but haven't been contacted, you have the right to request documentation from the trustee. I clicked on another link. This one was a forum Reddit, someone asking a similar question. User: my mom died and I think she left a trust but no one told me. How do I find out? Response 1. Contact the county probate court. Trusts are usually filed there. Response 2. If it's a living trust, it might not be public record. You'd need to ask the trustee directly. Response 3. Hire a lawyer. If someone's hiding assets from you, they won't hand over info voluntarily. I closed the laptop. I didn't have money for a lawyer, but I had Derek's business card. I called Apex Wealth Management the next day. A receptionist answered. Apex Wealth Management, how can I direct your call? I'd like to speak with Derek Chen, please. May I ask what this is regarding? A family trust. The Reeves Trust. One moment. Hold music. Soft jazz. Then Derek's voice. This is Derek. I hadn't expected him to actually answer. It's Jordan, I said. Silence. I want to know about the Reeves Trust. Jordan, I don't think this is $128,000, I said. My grandmother's money. You wrote it on your business card. That was a private note. You had no right to. You threw my graduation cap in the trash and your card fell out. So actually, I had every right. My voice was steadier than I felt. Now tell me what the Reeves Trust is. Another pause. I can't discuss client details, he said finally. His tone was clipped. Professional. That's privileged information. Am I a beneficiary? I'm not at liberty to. Am I a beneficiary, Derek? You need to talk to your parents. He hung up. I sat on my couch, gripping my phone. Derek had confirmed it without confirming it. There was a trust. My grandmother had left money, and no one had told me. The envelope arrived 4 days later. I almost missed it. Our apartment building's mailboxes were crammed into a narrow alcove near the front entrance, and mine was always stuffed with junk credit card offers, grocery coupons, ads for car insurance I couldn't afford. But this envelope was different. Thick. Cream-colored. Official. Wells Fargo Trust Services. Account holder, Reeves Family Trust. It wasn't addressed to me. It was addressed to my parents. Their names, printed in that sterile bank font. But someone had written my apartment number on it, 4B, in blue pen. A mistake. Maybe. A mail carrier who'd misread the address. I held it for a long time. This wasn't mine. Opening someone else's mail was illegal. But my name was Reeves, too. I opened it. Inside was a single sheet of paper. A trust account summary. Wells Fargo Trust Services. Account summary. Q3. Reeves Children Education Trust. Account balance. $128,472.18. Grantor. Patricia Ann Reeves. Deceased. Trustees. Richard Reeves. Susan Reeves. Beneficiaries. Maya Chen. Formerly Reeves. Jordan Reeves. Recent disbursements. 0814 $12,000. Payee. Maya Chen, Kitchen renovation deposit. 0722 to $8,400. Pai. Maya Chen. Professional conference travel. 0610 $15,600. Pai. Maya Chen. Vehicle down payment. 0418 $41,000. Payee. Maya Chen graduate tuition. UC Berkeley. 0203 to $10,000. Payee. Maya Chen. Home furnishings. The list went on. 23 disbursements total. Going back 18 months. Every single one made out to Maya Chen. Not one to Jordan Reeves. I read it 5 times. Then I read it again. My hands were shaking so badly the paper rustled. Reeves Children Education Trust. Children, plural. My grandmother had left this for both of us. For Maya's education. For mine. $128,000. Split 50-50. Except it wasn't split. Maya had received $87,000. For graduate school. For her kitchen. For a fucking conference trip. I'd received 0. I grabbed my laptop and opened my student loan account. $64,300 in debt. I clicked through to the loan history. Found the origination date of my first loan. 3 months after the first disbursement to Maya. I'd taken out loans because my parents said they couldn't help. We can't take on that liability, Jordan. They'd said that while sitting on $128,000 meant for my education. My stomach lurched. I ran to the bathroom and threw up. When I came back, I sat on my couch and stared at the paper. My grandmother's name was at the top. Patricia Ann Reeves. I remembered her. The way she'd slip me $20 at family dinners when my parents weren't looking. The way she'd asked about school, about work, about whether I was eating enough. The way she'd looked at me at Maya's wedding, something sad in her expression, and said, "You're going to do great things, Jordan. Don't let anyone convince you otherwise." She'd left me money for school. And my parents had given it all to Maya. I called my mom. She answered on the second ring. "Jordan." "Hi, honey. How are you feeling after graduation? I'm so sorry we couldn't. Why didn't you tell me about Grandma's trust?" Silence. "What?" "The Reeves Children Education Trust. $128,000. Why didn't you tell me?" I could hear her breathing. Fast. Shallow. "Jordan, I don't know what you're—" "I have the bank statement in front of me, Mom." "Wells Fargo. Every disbursement for the last 18 months. All to Maya. None to me." "Where did you get that?" "It came in the mail." "That's private. You had no right." "I had every right." My voice cracked. "Grandma left that money for my education, and you spent it on Maya's kitchen. It's not that simple." "Then explain it." Another pause. Longer this time. "Maya needed help," Mom said finally. Her voice was quiet, defensive. She was building her career. She had expenses. You were already working, and we thought— "You thought what?" "That I didn't deserve it?" "That's not what I said. You let me take out $60,000 in loans while you had my education fund sitting in a bank account." "Jordan, you're being dramatic. Maya's career required— Her kitchen required $41,000 in tuition money?" Silence. "I'm hanging up now," Mom said. Her voice had gone cold. "When you're ready to have a calm, adult conversation, you can call me back." She hung up. I sat there, holding my phone, staring at the bank statement. $87,000. Given to Maya for graduate school, a car, furniture, trips, renovations, while I worked 50-hour weeks and ate ramen and fell asleep at red lights. While I borrowed $64,000 at 6.8% interest because my parents said they couldn't help. They could help. They just didn't want to. I couldn't sleep that night. I kept doing the math. 18 months since Grandma died. 18 months since the trust was established. 23 disbursements to Maya. I pulled up my own records, old texts, bank statements, calendar entries, and started building a timeline. 18 months ago. February. Grandma's funeral. I'd driven 3 hours to Sacramento, taken the day off work unpaid, worn the only black dress I owned. After the service, Mom pulled me aside in the church parking lot. Grandma left a little money, she said. Nothing major, but enough to help with some things. Like what things? I'd asked. Just family things. Don't worry about it. I didn't push. I assumed she meant funeral costs. That same month, the trust was opened. $128,000 deposited. 2 weeks later, Maya got her first disbursement. $10,000 for home furnishings. 16 months ago, April. I applied for my third student loan. $18,000 to cover spring and summer tuition. I called Dad to ask if he'd co-sign, knowing he'd say no but needing to ask anyway. We can't take on that kind of liability, Jordan, he said. You need to be financially independent. That same week, Maya received $41,000 from the Trust for Graduate School Tuition. 14 months ago, June. My car died. The transmission gave out on Highway 101, and the repair estimate was $3,200 more than the car was worth. I called Mom, desperate. Can you help? Even just a loan? I'll pay you back. Honey, we're stretched thin right now. Can you take the bus for a while? I took the bus. That same month, Maya got $15,600 for a down payment on a new Audi. 12 months ago. August. My 27th birthday. My parents took me to Olive Garden. We split an appetizer. They gave me a card with a $25 Starbucks gift card inside. Sorry, it's not much, Mom said. Money's tight. 2 weeks later, Maya received $8,400 for a professional conference in Boston. Flights, hotel, meals. I saw the photos on Instagram. She stayed at a Marriott. She ate at a restaurant with cloth napkins. 10 months ago, October. I picked up extra shifts at Walgreens to cover my rent after my hours got cut. Worked 60 hours one week. Got sick. Couldn't afford to see a doctor. That same month, Maya received $12,000 for a kitchen renovation deposit. 8 months ago. December. Christmas at my parents' house. Maya showed up with Derek. She was glowing, talking about their plan to redo the master bathroom, how they'd hired a designer. Must be nice, I said, trying to keep my voice light. We've been saving, Maya said. She hadn't been saving. She'd been spending my inheritance. 6 months ago, February. I called Mom, crying. I'd just gotten my loan statements for the year. $64,300 total. The interest alone was eating me alive. I don't know how I'm going to pay this off, I said. You'll figure it out, honey. You always do. That same month, Maya received another $10,000 disbursement. The description said, Home improvements. I sat back on my couch, staring at my laptop screen. 18 months. 23 disbursements. Every time I'd struggled, Maya had gotten money. Every time I'd asked for help, my parents had said no while writing checks to my sister from an account that was supposed to be mine too. The worst part wasn't the money. It was the lying. The way Mom said, money's tight, while approving $8,000 for Maya's conference. The way Dad said, we can't take on liability, while co-signing a $41,000 disbursement for grad school. The way they'd both looked me in the eye, over and over, and told me they couldn't help when they absolutely could. I opened my phone and pulled up the text thread with Maya. I typed, You knew. Deleted it. Typed, You've been stealing from me for 18 months. Deleted it. Typed, How much of that new car was mine? Sent it. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Maya. Jordan. It's not like that. Me. Then what is it like? Maya. Mom and Dad said you didn't need it. You were already working. I had expenses. Me. I had $64,000 in loans. Maya. That's different. Me. How? No response. I looked at the bank statement again. At the top, in small print, trustees. Richard Reeves, Susan Reeves. My parents were the trustees. They controlled the money. They decided who got what. And they'd decided Maya deserved everything. I thought about Derek, throwing my graduation cap in the trash. This means nothing. He'd known. He'd been the one recommending the disbursements. His business card had literally said, "Distribute to M only." He'd known I was working myself to exhaustion while they funneled my money to his wife. And he'd looked at my degree, the thing I'd sacrificed 6 years for, and told me it was worthless. I grabbed my phone and called the one person I knew would understand. Rashida answered on the first ring. "Jordan? What's wrong?" "I need your help," I said. My voice was shaking. "I think my parents committed fraud." Rashida Torres arrived at my apartment 40 minutes later with a bottle of wine, a legal pad, and the kind of focused energy that made her terrifying in an argument. We'd met 3 years ago during pharmacy tech training. She'd been switching careers from paralegal work to healthcare, burned out from family law cases and custody battles. We'd bonded over bad coffee in the break room and a shared understanding that sometimes you have to rebuild your life from scratch. She was the only person who knew how hard I'd worked for this degree. Now she sat on my couch, reading the bank statement for the third time, her jaw tight. "This is embezzlement," she said. "It's my parents." "I don't care if it's the Pope. This is criminal." She set the paper down and looked at me. "Your grandmother established a trust for both of you. 50-50. Your parents are the trustees, which means they have a fiduciary duty to manage that money fairly. They didn't. They gave everything to Maya and left you with nothing. Can they actually get in trouble for this?" "Jordan." Rashida leaned forward. "They committed fraud. They violated your grandmother's intent. They let you drown in debt while they funded your sister's kitchen renovation with your inheritance. Yes, they can get in trouble." I felt something crack open in my chest. Not quite relief, not quite vindication, just clarity. What do I do? Document everything. Every text, every email, every conversation where they said they couldn't help you financially. Find a lawyer who does contingency cases, someone who'll take this on without upfront payment. This is a slam dunk case if you present it right. What if they say it was their decision to make? That they controlled the trust? They controlled it as trustees, not owners. Trustees have legal obligations. They can't just pick favorites. Especially not when the trust explicitly names both beneficiaries. She picked up her wine glass, took a sip, then set it down hard enough to make a sound. "You worked yourself half to death while they threw your money at her wedding and her car and her fucking conference trips. That's not a family decision. That's theft." We spent the next 2 hours going through everything. Rashida took notes in her paralegal shorthand neat columns, highlighted sections, starred items she called smoking guns. I showed her the texts from my parents. The ones where they said money was tight. The ones where they refused to co-sign loans. The ones where they dismissed my requests for help. "These are gold," Rashida said, photographing each screen with her phone. "Especially this one." She pointed to a text from my dad, sent 14 months ago. "Dad, we can't take on your financial burdens, Jordan. You need to learn responsibility." He sent that 3 days after approving a $12,000 disbursement for Maya's kitchen, I said. "I know. That's why it's perfect." Rashida made another note. "This shows deliberate deception. They weren't broke. They were choosing to fund Maya instead of you." I pulled up my loan history and showed her the dates. "I took out my first loan here." I pointed to the screen. March, 2 years ago. $18,000. And when was Maya's first disbursement? February, the month before. Rashida wrote that down, then circled it twice. So they opened the trust, immediately started giving Maya money, and then told you they couldn't help when you asked a month later. Yeah. That's not mismanagement. That's intentional. She asked about Derek. "He's a financial consultant at Apex Wealth Management," I said. The company specializes in trusts and estates. I think he was the one recommending all of Maya's disbursements. Did he know the trust was supposed to be split? He had to. His business card said, "Distribute to M only." He knew I existed. He knew Grandma wanted this for both of us. Rashida's pen hovered over the pad. That's conspiracy. If Derek advised your parents to violate the trust terms, he's liable too. He threw my graduation cap in the trash and told me my degree meant nothing. Of course he did. Rashida's voice was flat. He knew you'd succeeded without the money he helped steal from you. That must have terrified him. By the time she left, I had a plan. Step 1. Find a trust litigation attorney who'd take my case on contingency. Step 2. Gather every piece of evidence: texts, emails, bank records, loan documents, the misdirected statement. Step 3. File a lawsuit, not just for the money, for the principal. This is going to get ugly, Rashida warned me at the door. Your parents will fight back. Maya will pick their side. You'll lose people. I've already lost them, I said. She hugged me. Hard. Good. Then you've got nothing left to lose. I found Gloria Mendez through a Google search. Trust Litigation Attorney San Jose Contingency. Her website was simple. Professional headshot, list of practice areas, a testimonial from someone who'd sued their sibling over an inheritance and won. I called on a Monday morning before my shift. The receptionist transferred me directly to Gloria. Her voice was warm but efficient. "Tell me what happened," she said. I told her. The whole thing. The trust. The disbursements. The loans. Derek's involvement. The graduation cap. When I finished, there was a pause. "How much did your sister receive?" Gloria asked. 87,000. And you? Nothing. And the trust explicitly named you as a beneficiary? Yes, 50-50 split. Another pause. I could hear her typing. "I'll see you Thursday at 2, she said. "Bring every document you have." Gloria Mendez's office was in a small building near downtown San Jose, sandwiched between a bail bonds place and a faux restaurant. The waiting room smelled like jasmine from a diffuser on the reception desk. I showed up 15 minutes early with a folder full of printed documents, bank statements, loan records, text screenshots, the trust summary. Gloria appeared at 2 exactly. She was 52, Latina, with silver-streaked hair pulled back in a bun, and the kind of steady gaze that made you feel both comforted and slightly afraid. "Jordan," she said, shaking my hand. "Come on back." Her office was small but organized. Diplomas on the wall, shelves of legal books, a desk covered in case files. She gestured for me to sit, then took the folder I handed her. For 10 minutes, she didn't say anything, just read. I watched her face, watched her eyebrows rise when she got to the disbursement list, watched her jaw tighten when she saw my loan balance. Finally, she looked up. "This is textbook breach of fiduciary duty. Is that good? For your case?" "Yes." She set the folder down. "Your grandmother created an education trust for 2 beneficiaries, you and your sister. She specified a 50-50 split. Your parents, as trustees, had a legal obligation to manage that money impartially. They didn't. They gave everything to Maya and nothing to you. That's not just unfair. It's illegal." My throat tightened. "Can I sue them?" "You can, and you should. This is a civil matter: breach of fiduciary duty, conversion of assets, potentially elder abuse depending on how we frame your grandmother's intent." Elder abuse? Your grandmother left that money for your education. Your parents violated her wishes. In California, that can be prosecuted as financial elder exploitation, even posthumously. Gloria pulled out a legal pad and started writing. "We have 3 options. 1. File a civil lawsuit, demanding restitution your half of the disbursed funds plus legal fees. 2. File a criminal complaint with the DA's office for fraud, and let them decide whether to prosecute. 3. What do you recommend?" "Start with civil. It's faster, and you have clear damages." If you win, you'll get the money you're owed. The criminal route takes longer and depends on whether the DA thinks it's worth their time. How long will the civil case take? 8 to 14 months, depending on how hard your parents fight. But we can file within 30 days. How much does it cost? Gloria leaned back in her chair. I work on contingency for cases like this. You don't pay me unless we win. If we win, I take 30% of whatever we recover. Plus court costs, filing fees, document processing, expert witnesses if we need them. Those run around 2 to 3,000 up front. My stomach dropped. I don't have that. How much do you have? Maybe 500? Gloria studied me for a long moment. I'll front the costs, she said. You pay me back when we win. What if we don't win? We will. She tapped the folder. Your parents left a paper trail. They admitted in writing they couldn't help you while they were actively dispersing funds to Maya. Their financial advisor, your brother-in-law, has a documented conflict of interest. This is an open and shut case. I signed a retainer agreement that afternoon. My hands shook the whole time. What happens now? I asked. Now you go home and let me build the case. I'll draft the complaint, file it with the court, and serve your parents. They'll have 30 days to respond. Will they hate me? Gloria's expression softened slightly. Probably. But they already chose to hurt you. You're just choosing to hold them accountable. I walked out of that office feeling lighter and heavier at the same time. Lighter because someone had finally said, "You're right. This was wrong." Heavier because I'd just set something in motion I couldn't take back. Over the next 3 weeks, I became a detective in my own life. Gloria had given me a list of documents to gather. All communication with parents, Maya about money, texts, emails, voicemails. Student loan records with origination dates. Trust documents, if I could get them. Proof of financial hardship during the 18-month period. Witness statements from anyone who'd heard my parents refuse to help me. I worked on it every night after my shifts, sitting at my kitchen table with my laptop and a growing pile of printed pages. Evidence item has shown. The text thread. I scrolled back through 2 years of texts with my parents. There were dozens of messages where I'd asked for help. Me, 16 months ago. Can you help with my tuition this quarter? I'm $900 short. Dad, we don't have extra right now, Jordan. Can you pick up more shifts? Me, 14 months ago. My car died. Repair is $3,200. Can I borrow it? I'll pay you back. Mom, we're stretched thin, honey. Try the bus for now. Me, 10 months ago. I need to see a dentist. Tooth is infected. Insurance doesn't cover it. $450. Dad, can it wait? We just don't have that kind of cash lying around. I screenshot every single one. Then I cross-referenced them with the trust disbursement dates. Dad's "we don't have extra" text? Sent 2 days before Maya received $8,400 for a conference. Mom's stretched thin text? Same week as a $12,000 kitchen disbursement. Dad's "don't have that kind of cash" text? 4 days after a $15,600 car down payment. I made a spreadsheet, 2 columns. Left side, my requests and their refusals. Right side, Maya's disbursements. The pattern was undeniable. Evidence item #2, the loan records. I downloaded my complete loan history from the Federal Student Aid website. 3 loans, taken out over 18 months. Loan 1, $18,000. Loan 2, $22,300, September 18 months ago. Loan 3, $24,000, April 1 year ago. Total borrowed, $64,300. Interest rate, 6.8%. I calculated how much interest I'd paid so far. $4,100. Money I'd given to a bank because my parents refused to help me while sitting on $128,000. Evidence item #3, proof of hardship. Gloria had said this would strengthen the case, showing that I'd struggled financially while they funded Maya. I gathered pay stubs from Walgreens showing my $19 hour wage, bank statements showing overdraft fees 7 and 18 months, a letter from my landlord about a late rent payment 12 months ago, when I'd gotten sick and missed 2 shifts, receipts from a payday loan place. I'd borrowed $200 at 400% interest to cover textbooks. I felt humiliated printing these. They were proof of how close to the edge I'd been living. But they were also proof that I'd needed help. Help my parents had refused to give. Evidence item #4. Witness statements. Rashida wrote hers immediately. I've known Jordan Reeves for 3 years. During that time, I witnessed her work 50-plus hour weeks while taking night classes. She frequently mentioned financial stress and her parents' refusal to help with school costs. On multiple occasions, she told me her parents claimed they couldn't afford to assist her. I also witnessed Derek Chen make dismissive comments about Jordan's degree at family gatherings, calling it not a real education. I was present via phone when Jordan discovered the trust documents and realized her parents had been lying about their financial situation. Marcus, my Walgreens supervisor, wrote one too. Jordan Reeves has been one of my most reliable employees for 6 years. She worked overnight shifts while taking online classes, often arriving exhausted but never complaining. She asked for extra shifts whenever possible and mentioned she was paying for school entirely on her own. I also met her brother-in-law Derek Chen once when he came into the store. He made a comment to Jordan about wasting time on a worthless degree that I found inappropriate and demeaning. I had 2 witness statements from people who'd seen my struggle and Derek's cruelty. Evidence item #5. Derek's involvement. This was harder to prove, but I tried. I printed Derek's LinkedIn profile, highlighting his position at Apex Wealth Management and his specialization in family trusts. I printed the business card I'd found in the trash, the one with Reeves Trust -$128K, distribute to M only, written on the back. I found an email in my spam folder from 8 months ago. It was a newsletter from Apex Wealth Management. I'd been added to their mailing list without subscribing. At the bottom, in tiny print, Apex Wealth Management provides expert guidance on trust distribution strategies and wealth preservation. Derek had been actively advising my parents to give everything to Maya. By the end of 3 weeks, I had a binder 2 inches thick. I brought it to Gloria's office on a Friday afternoon. She flipped through it slowly, occasionally making notes, nodding. "This is excellent work," she said. "Is it enough?" "It's more than enough. We have clear evidence of breach of fiduciary duty, financial hardship caused by their actions, and a pattern of deliberate deception. We also have Derek's conflict of interest documented." She closed the binder. "I'm filing the complaint Monday morning." "What happens when they get served?" "They'll panic. They'll call you. Don't answer. Forward everything to me. They'll hire a lawyer. Their lawyer will try to claim this was a legitimate trustee decision. We'll show the judge it wasn't." "How do you know we'll win?" Gloria met my eyes. "Because your grandmother put both your names in that trust. Because your parents left a paper trail proving they chose Maya over you. And because the law doesn't allow trustees to play favorites." She paused. "You're not asking for revenge, Jordan. You're asking for what your grandmother wanted you to have. That's not greed. That's justice." I walked out of her office and sat in my car for 20 minutes. On Monday, Gloria would file the lawsuit. My parents would be served. Maya would find out. Everything would explode. I thought about texting my mom one more time, giving her a chance to fix this before it became public. Then I remembered the bank statement, the 23 disbursements, the lies, the way she'd laughed at Olive Garden when I'd asked for help, saying money was tight, while approving thousands for Maya's furniture. I put my phone away. Monday came. Gloria called at 11 a.m. "It's filed," she said. "Case number 2, 4CV08841. Jordan Reeves v. Richard Reeves, Susan Reeves, and Maya Chen. The court will serve them within 72 hours. All 3 of them? All 3. Your parents as trustees. Maya as an unjust enrichment defendant. If she knowingly accepted funds that should have been split, she's liable too. I sat down on my couch. Thank you, I said. Don't thank me yet. Thank me when we win. 72 hours. 3 days until my family found out I was suing them. I turned my phone on silent and waited for the bomb to drop. The first call came 36 hours after Gloria filed. I was restocking shelves at Walgreens when my phone started vibrating in my pocket. I pulled it out. Mom. Calling. I sent it to voicemail. 2 minutes later, Dad. Calling. Voicemail. Then. Maya. Calling. Voicemail. My phone buzzed with a text. Mom. We need to talk. Now. I forwarded the text to Gloria, like she'd told me to do. Her response came immediately. Perfect. Don't engage. Let them panic. The voicemails started piling up. I listened to them that night in my apartment, sitting on my couch with a glass of wine I couldn't afford. Mom's voicemail, 3:47 p.m. Jordan, what the hell is this? A lawsuit? Against your own parents? You need to call me right now and explain what you think you're doing. This is absolutely ridiculous. We're your family. Dad's voicemail, 4:02 p.m. Jordan, I just got served at work. At work. Do you have any idea how humiliating that was? We need to talk about this before you make an even bigger mistake. Call me back. Maya's voicemail, 5:18 p.m. Jordan, seriously? You're suing me? After everything our parents have done for you? This is insane. You're tearing this family apart over money you don't even need. Call me. We can fix this. I played them twice. Then I deleted them. Gloria called the next morning. They've all hired lawyers, she said. Your parents retained someone from a family law firm in Los Gatos. Maya got her own attorney, corporate litigation guy, probably someone Derek recommended. They're scrambling. Good, I said. They're going to try to settle. Offer you some money to make this go away quietly. Don't take it. I won't. I mean it, Jordan. They'll offer you 20,000, maybe 30, and frame it as generosity. They'll say you're being unreasonable. Don't listen. You're owed 64,000 minimum, plus legal fees, plus damages. We're going to trial if we have to. How long until trial? 4 to 6 months. But there's a hearing in 3 weeks, preliminary motions. Procedural stuff. The judge will look at the evidence and decide if we have standing. We do, but it's a formality. Will they be there? Your parents? Yes. Maya too, probably. Derek might show up to support her. I felt something tighten in my chest. I want to confront them before that. Gloria paused. What do you mean? I want to face them publicly, before the hearing. I want them to hear what they did from me, not from a judge. Jordan. They stole from me for 18 months and lied to my face. I want them to answer for it in front of people who matter to them. Another pause. What are you thinking? Maya's birthday is in 2 weeks, August 30th. My parents always throw her a big party. Country club, 100+ guests, all their friends, Maya's co-workers, Derek's colleagues. You want to confront them at a birthday party? I want to confront them where they can't hide. Gloria was quiet for a long moment. If you do this, there's no going back. This will burn every bridge. The bridges are already burned, I said. They just don't know it yet. I wasn't invited to Maya's birthday party. But Rashida was on the country club's catering staff roster. She'd worked events there during her paralegal days side gig, extra cash, decent tips. She still had contacts, one phone call, and she was hired as a server for August 30th. I'll get you in through the service entrance, she said. You'll have maybe 10 minutes before someone realizes you're not supposed to be there. Make them count. I spent the next 2 weeks preparing. I printed 6 copies of the trust documents, highlighted every disbursement to Maya in yellow, highlighted every date I'd asked for help in pink. I wrote a speech, practiced it in my bathroom mirror until I could recite it without shaking. I bought a navy dress $60 from Target, the most I'd spent on clothing in 2 years. I told myself I was ready. I wasn't sure I believed it. The day of Maya's birthday party, I woke up at 6 a.m. to 23 missed texts. Most were from my parents. Variations of, "Please call us, and we can work this out, and you're making a huge mistake." One was from Maya. "I know you're angry, but this isn't the way. Let's talk like adults." One was from Derek. "You're embarrassing yourself. Drop the lawsuit." I deleted all of them, without responding. I spent the morning cleaning my apartment. It was a nervous habit when I couldn't control my thoughts. I controlled my environment. I vacuumed, wiped down counters, organized my bookshelf. At 11 a.m., Rashida texted. "Rashida, party starts at 6. Get there at 7. Speeches usually happen around 7:30. I'll have the side door unlocked." Me. "What if someone stops me?" Rashida. "They won't. Trust me." I tried to eat lunch, managed half a sandwich before my stomach revolted. I tried to watch TV, couldn't focus. I tried to nap, lay on my couch staring at the ceiling for 40 minutes. At 4 p.m., I started getting ready. Shower, makeup, hair pulled back in a neat bun, the navy dress. Flats I'd need to move quickly if things went wrong. I packed the evidence folders into a canvas bag. 6 copies, 12 pages each, 72 pages of proof. I looked at myself in the mirror. I looked calm. I looked like someone about to burn her entire family to the ground. The drive to Riverside Country Club took 30 minutes. I parked 3 blocks away, on a residential street where no one would recognize my car. Walked to the club as the sun started setting, casting everything in gold. The country club sat on a hill overlooking the valley. Manicured lawns, a golf course, a main building with white columns that looked like something out of a magazine. I'd been here once before for Maya's wedding reception. I'd worn that same $40 Target dress and smiled through speeches about family and love and support. Tonight, I wasn't smiling. The service entrance was around the back, near the kitchen loading area. Rashida was waiting, dressed in black slacks and a white button-down catering uniform. "You ready?" she asked. "No." "Good. You'll be angrier that way." She handed me a catering apron. "Put this on. If anyone asks, you're helping with appetizers. The party's in the outdoor pavilion back left section. Maya and Derek are at the head table. Your parents are next to them." "How many people?" I counted 167 when I did the first drink round. 167 witnesses. "Speeches start at 7:30, Rashida continued. "Derek goes first, some toast about Maya being amazing. Then your dad. Then open mic if anyone wants to say something." "I want to say something." "I know." She squeezed my shoulder. "I'll be in the back left corner, recording everything. If it goes bad, I'll get you out." We walked through the service entrance together. The kitchen was chaos, chefs shouting orders, servers rushing with trays, the smell of seared salmon and roasted vegetables. No one looked at me twice. Rashida led me down a hallway, through a door, and suddenly we were outside. The pavilion was stunning. String lights overhead, white tablecloths, centerpieces with roses and candles, a jazz trio playing softly near the bar, and in the center, at the head table, Maya and Derek. Maya wore a gold dress that probably cost more than my rent. Her hair was professionally styled. She was laughing at something Derek said, champagne glass in hand. My parents sat next to them. Mom in a floral dress, Dad in a suit. They looked happy. They looked like a perfect family. I stayed near the edge, behind a group of guests, apron still on. Watched servers bring out appetizers. Watched people mingle and laugh and take photos. Watched my parents toast Maya. Watched Derek kiss her cheek. At 7:25, Derek stood and tapped his glass. The crowd quieted. "If I could have everyone's attention," he said, voice carrying across the pavilion, "I'd like to say a few words about my incredible wife." People moved toward the tables, finding seats. I took off the apron, pulled the evidence folders from my bag, and walked toward the microphone. Derek is mid-sentence when I reach the microphone stand. And Maya deserves everything she has. Because she's worked so hard. I'd like to say something, I interrupt. The pavilion goes silent. Derek turns. Sees me. His face drains of color. Jordan? Maya's voice. Confused. What are you? I'm here to talk about what Maya deserves, I say into the microphone. My voice is steady, louder than I expected. Specifically, the $128,000 she stole from me. Gasps ripple through the crowd. Mom stands. Jordan, this is not the time. Sit down, Mom. She freezes. I pull out the first evidence folder, hold it up so everyone can see. 18 months ago, my grandmother died. Patricia Reeves. Some of you knew her. I scan the crowd, see a few nods. She left a trust fund. The Reeves Children Education Trust. $128,000. Split 50-50 between me and Maya. I flip open the folder. Here's the bank statement. Wells Fargo Trust Services. Account balance. $128,472. Two beneficiaries listed. Maya Chen and Jordan Reeves. People are leaning forward now, phones coming out. Over the last 18 months, Maya received $87,000 from that trust. $41,000 for graduate school. $15,000 for a car down payment. $12,000 for a kitchen renovation. $8,000 for a conference trip. I flip to the highlighted disbursement page. Hold it up. 23 disbursements. All to Maya. None to me. Maya is crying. Derek's jaw is clenched. Dad stands. Jordan, we can discuss this privately. We're not discussing this privately. We're discussing this here. Now. In front of everyone. My voice cracks slightly, but I push through. Do you want to know what I got? $64,000 in student loans. At 6.8% interest. Because when I asked you for help, when I asked you to co-sign so I could get a better rate, you said you couldn't take on that liability. I pull out my phone. Read from the screenshots. March, 2 years ago. I texted Dad. Can you help with tuition? I'm $900 short. His response, we don't have extra right now. I look at Dad. He won't meet my eyes. That was 2 days before Maya got $8,400 for a conference in Boston. Murmurs in the crowd. People looking at my parents. June, 18 months ago. I called Mom. My car died. I needed $3,200 for repairs. She said, we're stretched thin, honey. Try the bus. I flipped to another page. That same month, Maya got $15,600 for an Audi down payment. Maya's boss is in the front row. She's staring at Maya with an expression I can't read. October. I picked up extra shifts because I couldn't afford rent. Got sick. Couldn't see a doctor. That same month, Maya got $12,000 for a kitchen renovation. I flipped to the last page. February. I called Mom crying because my student loan balance had hit $64,000 and I didn't know how I'd ever pay it off. She said, you'll figure it out, honey. You always do. My voice is shaking now. That same month, Maya got another $10,000. The description says home improvements. Silence. Complete, absolute silence. My grandmother left that money for my education. She wanted me to have the same opportunities as Maya, and my parents, I looked directly at them, gave it all to her. While I worked night shifts at Walgreens and took out loans and ate ramen and fell asleep at red lights. Mom is crying now. Dad's face is red. 3 weeks ago, Derek threw my graduation cap in the trash. My voice hardens. Right here, Section 12, Stanford Stadium. He said it meant nothing, that I'd wasted 6 years on a degree I'd never use. I turned to Derek. You were right to be scared, because I earned that degree without the money you helped steal. Derek opens his mouth, closes it. Derek works at Apex Wealth Management, specializes in trust fund management. He was my parents' financial advisor. He recommended every single one of those disbursements. I hold up his business card, the one I found in the trash. This fell out of his pocket. On the back, in his handwriting, Reeves Trust minus $128K. Distribute to M only. People in the crowd are standing now, trying to see. He knew. He knew that trust was supposed to be split. He knew I was drowning in debt. And he advised my parents to give it all to Maya anyway. Derek's face is purple. That's privileged. It's fraud, I say. Breach of fiduciary duty. Conversion of assets. And my attorney Gloria Mendez, if anyone wants her card, has already filed a lawsuit. Case number 24CV08841. Against all three of them. Maya sobs. Jordan, I didn't know. You knew. My voice cuts through the pavilion like a blade. You texted me. You said, Mom and Dad said you didn't need it. You were already working. I had expenses. I pull out my phone. Show the screenshot. You knew I had $64,000 in loans. You knew I was struggling. And you took the money anyway. You thought I didn't deserve it. Maya doesn't respond. I turn to the crowd. I worked 6 years for my degree. 50-hour weeks. Night shifts. I sacrificed everything. And the people who were supposed to support me stole from me instead. My voice breaks. They let me believe I wasn't worth helping, that I had to do it alone, while they spent my inheritance on my sister's kitchen. I set the folders down on the gift table. These are the bank statements, the trust documents, the text messages, the loan records. If anyone wants to see the proof, it's right here. I step back from the microphone. The crowd erupts. People shouting. Phones up. Guests arguing with each other. Maya's boss stands and walks toward my parents. I can't hear what she says, but their faces go pale. Someone yells, "Let them speak." Another voice. "This is her birthday. She stole $87,000. Someone else shouts back. Derek tries to grab the microphone. This is a private family matter. But the country club manager is walking toward him, flanked by security. Rashida appears at my side, links her arm through mine. "We're leaving," she says. "Not yet." I turn back to the microphone. One more thing. The lawsuit is public record. Anyone can look it up. And my attorney will win. Because the law doesn't let trustees play favorites. Because my grandmother wanted this for both of us. And because I'm not asking for revenge. I look at my parents. I'm asking for what was always mine. Then I walk away. The crowd parts. Some people are applauding, others are silent. I leave the evidence folders on the gift table. Leave my parents standing at the head table, frozen. Leave Maya sobbing into her hands. Leave Derek staring after me like he's seen a ghost. Rashida and I walk through the pavilion, past the string lights and champagne glasses and ruined birthday cake. Behind us, I hear chaos. Shouting. My mother's voice, high and desperate. She's lying. My father. This is slander. Someone else. I saw the documents. Those were real. We reach the service entrance. Rashida's phone is in her hand. Got everything on video. 4 minutes, 20 seconds. Every word. Don't post it yet, I say. I won't, but someone else will. She's right. By the time we reach my car, my phone is exploding with notifications. Unknown numbers, Facebook messages, Instagram DMs. Someone's cousin posted the video. It's already going viral. By midnight, the video had 340,000 views. I sat in my apartment with Rashida, watching the numbers climb on someone's Twitter post. The video quality was shaky shot from across the pavilion, but the audio was crystal clear. My voice, amplified by the microphone. They let me believe I wasn't worth helping. The comments were overwhelming. At Sarah M. writes, "This is the most savage thing I've ever seen. She brought receipts." At Justice for Jordan, "Someone start a GoFundMe. This person deserves every penny back." At Trust Fund Kids, "My mom's a trust attorney and she said this is textbook breach of fiduciary duty. They're cooked." "You should turn off your phone," Rashida said. I couldn't. Notifications kept flooding in. 67 missed calls, 112 text messages, most from my parents. Mom, 11:43 p.m. You humiliated us in front of everyone we know. How could you do this? Dad, 11:51 p.m. You've destroyed this family. I hope you're proud of yourself. Maya, 12:04 a.m. I can't believe you did that at my birthday. You're dead to me. Derek sent one message. You'll regret this. I forwarded all of them to Gloria. Her response came immediately, even though it was past midnight. Screenshot everything. This is evidence of retaliation. Don't respond. By morning, the video had 1.8 million views. Someone had posted it to Reddit, then TikTok, then Instagram. People were finding my parents' Facebook pages, Maya's LinkedIn, Derek's Apex Wealth Management profile. The comments on Derek's company page were brutal. Review user, 2024. This financial consultant helped his in-laws commit trust fraud. Would you trust him with your family's money? Anonymous client. I'm pulling my account. Conflict of interest much? At 9 a.m., Gloria called. Have you seen the video? I asked. Everyone's seen the video, including the judge assigned to your case. She paused. This might have been the smartest thing you could have done. How? Public pressure. Your parents can't claim this is a misunderstanding when 2 million people have watched you present evidence. Their lawyers are going to have a very hard time spinning this. That afternoon, my phone rang from an unknown number. I almost didn't answer. But something made me pick up. Jordan Reeves? A woman's voice. Professional, unfamiliar. Yes? This is Amanda Chen from the San Jose Mercury News. I'm writing a story about trust fraud and financial elder abuse. I saw your video. Would you be willing to comment? I sat down on my couch. I have an attorney. Gloria Mendez. I've already reached out to her. She said I should contact you directly. This is your story, Miss Reeves, and it's resonating with a lot of people. I thought about my grandmother, about the birthday card she'd sent with that $50 check. Education is the one thing no one can take from you. Yes, I said, I'll talk to you. The article ran 3 days later. San Jose Mercury News. The $128K betrayal. How one family's trust fund became a weapon. It was front page, digital and print. The reporter had done her homework. She'd interviewed Gloria, reviewed the court filings, even spoken to a trust law professor at Stanford who called my case one of the clearest examples of fiduciary breach I've seen in 20 years. She'd also tried to contact my parents. They'd refused to comment. Derek's employer, Apex Wealth Management, issued a statement. We take all allegations of professional misconduct seriously and are conducting an internal review. By the end of the week, Derek was on administrative leave. The legal process moved faster than I expected. Gloria had warned me it would take months, but the publicity changed everything. 4 weeks after I filed the lawsuit, my parents' attorney requested a settlement conference. They want to avoid trial, Gloria explained over the phone. The video made this case toxic for them. Every expert witness I contact has already seen it. Jury selection would be a nightmare. What are they offering? $35,000. They're calling it a good faith gesture. That's not even half of what they gave Maya. I know. I told them to try again. The second offer came 2 weeks later. $50,000. Still not enough, Gloria said. We're asking for $64,000 your full share of the disbursed funds, plus $18,000 in legal fees, plus emotional damages. $85,000 total. Will they pay it? They will, if they want this to go away before trial. And trust me, they do. The court date is in 3 weeks, and I've subpoenaed Derek's communications with your parents. If those emails show what I think they show, this goes from civil fraud to potential criminal charges. The third offer came 1 week before trial, $78,000. Gloria called me from her office. I could hear the satisfaction in her voice. They're settling. 64,000 for you, your full share. 18,500 for legal fees. They're also agreeing to a 2-year restraining order, 500 feet minimum distance. I sat down. What about Maya? She's settling separately. Her attorney contacted me yesterday. She's paying you 12,000 out of her own funds, a portion of what she received. It's not everything, but it's acknowledgement. Does she admit she did anything wrong? Legally? No. The settlement includes a non-admission clause, but she's paying you $12,000. That's an admission. I signed the settlement papers on a Tuesday afternoon in Gloria's office. My hands shook the entire time. What happens now? I asked. The court enters the judgment. Your parents have 30 days to pay. Once the funds clear, the case is closed. The restraining order goes into effect immediately. And Derek? Gloria smiled. It wasn't a kind smile. Apex Wealth Management terminated him yesterday. Ethics violation. Conflict of interest. Breach of professional standards. He's also facing a formal complaint with the California Department of Financial Protection. If they pursue it, he could lose his license. Good. There's one more thing. Gloria slid a document across her desk. The Wells Fargo Trust Services office contacted me. They're closing the Reeves family trust and removing your parents as trustees. The remaining balance, about 40,000, is being split equally between you and Maya. You'll each get 20,000. I stared at the document. So I'm getting 84,000 total? 64 from the settlement, 20 from the trust closure, yes, 84,000. Enough to pay off most of my loans. Enough to finally breathe. The money hit my account 6 weeks later. I sat at my laptop, staring at my bank balance. Available balance, $84,247.19. More money than I'd ever had in my life. I opened my student loan account. Outstanding balance, $64,300. I clicked Make a Payment. Entered $60,000. Clicked Submit. The page refreshed. New balance, $4,300. I started crying. Not sad crying, not relieved crying. Just crying. The family fallout was immediate and permanent. My parents didn't speak to me after the settlement. Not a call, not a text, nothing. I heard through Aunt Lisa, my grandmother's daughter, who'd sided with me immediately after seeing the video, that they'd told relatives I was mentally unstable and making up stories for attention. It didn't matter. Aunt Lisa had copies of all the documents. The family split cleanly down the middle. Team Jordan, Aunt Lisa, her son Marcus, 3 of my mom's cousins, 2 family friends from church who'd known my grandmother. Team parents, Uncle Ron, my dad's brother, my parents' church group, Maya's in-laws, a handful of relatives who believed family comes first. Maya herself went silent. No calls, no texts, no social media contact. I heard through Marcus that she and Derek were seeing a marriage counselor, that Derek was struggling to find work, that she'd been passed over for a promotion at her architecture firm after the video made rounds in her professional network. I felt a small, dark satisfaction at that. Then I felt guilty for feeling satisfied. Then I stopped caring. Holidays became simple. Thanksgiving was at Aunt Lisa's house. Just the 2 of us, Marcus and Rashida. We ate turkey and talked about normal things: work, movies, Aunt Lisa's new boyfriend. No one mentioned my parents. No one had to. Christmas was quieter. I worked the holiday shift at Walgreens, then came home to my apartment and watched movies with Rashida. My phone stayed silent. No texts from Mom about gift exchanges. No calls from Dad asking when I'd arrive. No passive-aggressive messages from Maya about letting the past go. Just silence. And for the first time in my life, silence felt like peace. The restraining order made things easier. 2 years. 500 feet. They couldn't come to my apartment. Couldn't show up at my work. Couldn't accidentally run into me at family events. If they violated it, I could call the police. I never had to. Derek's career never recovered. 6 months after the settlement, I Googled him. His LinkedIn said, "Open to opportunities." Apex Wealth Management had scrubbed his profile from their website. The California Department of Financial Protection had suspended his license pending investigation. Marcus told me he'd seen Derek working at a strip mall tax prep office. I didn't verify it. I didn't need to. Maya and Derek divorced 18 months after my lawsuit. I found out through Aunt Lisa, who'd heard it through the family grapevine. She filed, Aunt Lisa said over coffee one Saturday. Cited irreconcilable differences. I think the trust thing broke them. Good, I said. And I meant it. It's been 3 years now. 3 years since I confronted my parents at Maya's birthday party. 3 years since the video went viral. 3 years since I got my money back. I'm 31 years old. I live in a one-bedroom apartment in downtown San Jose, nicer than the studio, with actual closet space and windows that let in light. I'm still a pharmacy technician at Walgreens. Same location, same overnight shifts. But I'm also 8 months into a PharmD bridge program. My employer is sponsoring it. Tuition covered, books included, schedule adjusted to accommodate classes. I'll graduate in 10 months with my doctorate and a $40,000 raise. I have $1,200 left in student loan debt. I'm paying it off slowly, deliberately, watching the balance shrink month by month. My credit score is 712, up from 580. I have $8,900 in savings, the most I've ever had. I'm dating someone, Marcus, actually, Aunt Lisa's son. It started as friendship, evolved into something more, and now we're talking about moving in together next year. He knows the whole story. He was there when I found the bank statement. He wrote one of my witness statements. He's never once made me feel like I overreacted. I haven't spoken to my parents in 3 years. Not once. I don't know where they live anymore. Aunt Lisa said they downsized, sold the house, moved to a smaller place outside the city. I don't know if they're happy. I don't know if they regret what they did. I don't know if they think about me. And I've stopped wondering. Maya reached out once. It was 6 months ago. A text from an unknown number. Unknown. Jordan, it's Maya. I know I don't have the right to ask, but can we talk? I stared at that message for 10 minutes. Then I blocked the number. I still have my graduation cap. It sits on my bookshelf, next to my diploma. The cardboard is still bent. The tassel is still stained. It still smells faintly like old coffee if you get close enough. People ask me why I kept it. I tell them it's a reminder. A reminder that I did this without them. A reminder that I was strong enough to walk away. A reminder that some things are worth fighting for, even when fighting means losing everyone you thought you loved. Last month, someone recognized me at Walgreens. A woman, maybe 40, came through my checkout line with a prescription and a bottle of ibuprofen. As I rang her up, she said, "Are you Jordan, from the video?" I froze. "I'm sorry," she said quickly. "I don't mean to be weird. It's just, I saw what happened, what your family did, and I wanted to say thank you." For what? For speaking up. My brother stole from our mom's estate. $20,000. I never said anything because I didn't want to cause drama, but after I saw your video, I hired a lawyer. I got the money back. She handed me her credit card. You reminded me that it's not greedy to want what's yours. It's just fair. I rang up her purchase, handed her the receipt, and watched her leave. I thought about that conversation for days. I don't regret what I did. Not the lawsuit, not the confrontation, not the burned bridges. People ask me sometimes, usually strangers on the internet who've seen the video, if I'd do it differently, if I'd try to reconcile, if I'd forgive them. The answer is no. Not because I'm cruel. Not because I'm holding a grudge. But because forgiveness without accountability is just permission to hurt you again. My parents didn't just steal money. They stole years. They stole security. They stole the belief that I mattered as much as my sister. And when I called them on it, they didn't apologize. They didn't admit they were wrong. They called me mentally unstable. They said I was tearing the family apart. They chose their lie over my truth. So I chose myself. Sometimes I think about my grandmother, about the trust she set up, about the way she used to slip me money and tell me I'd do great things. I think she'd be proud of me. Not for the lawsuit, not for the confrontation, but for finishing, for getting my degree despite everything, for refusing to let them convince me I didn't deserve it, for standing up and saying, "This was mine. You don't get to take it." 3 years later, I'm still standing. I have a career I'm building, a partner who respects me, friends who showed up when my family didn't. I have a bent graduation cap on my shelf and a nearly paid off loan balance and a future that's finally mine. My parents threw away my cap and told me my degree meant nothing, but I'm the one who walked away, and I'm the one who's still here. Derek was wrong about one thing. My degree meant everything, just not to him. It meant I could survive without their approval. It meant I could build a life they didn't fund. It meant I was stronger than they ever gave me credit for. They threw away my cap. I threw away their control. Best trade I ever made. If you're listening to this, and you see yourself in my story, if you've been told you're being dramatic, if you've been told family comes first, if you've been told to let it go, hear this. You're not being dramatic. Family doesn't come first if family refuses to treat you fairly. And some things are worth fighting for, even when the fight costs you everything. I lost my parents. I lost my sister. I lost the family I thought I had. But I gained something more valuable. Proof that I was right. Proof that I was worth defending. Proof that I could stand alone and survive. You don't need their permission to want what's yours. You don't need their approval to demand fairness. You just need to decide you're worth it. I decided I was. 3 years later, I still am. This is Achiever Betrayed.